All right, we are inside this new layer of reorganization. So you could liken this to a bit of a midpoint phase. Um, it's a different shape to last year. It's a new pressure, it's a new distinction, and wherever you're listening from, just let your body settle, okay? You don't need to understand anything yet. You don't need to track these words. Just notice your breath and notice the weight of your body where you're sitting or standing, because I'm not here to tell you what's coming right now, okay? I'm here to name what is moving so that your system doesn't have to work so hard to recognize it. I've spent a little time reorientating over the last week to the land, to the collective field, and what I'm about to share is it's not something you have to take on or you need to take on, it's just something you can listen through, okay? Now this midpoint collapse, we're calling it, okay? Why do things feel quiet or heavy or just different right now? This week's collective energy really marks this midpoint phase, and it's quiet, but it's a profound reorganization. Your identity, your nervous system patterns, and your embodiment, they're all calibrating, okay? Now, many of you may be noticing like this reduced motivation. Not in a depression sense, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about on the whole, this reduced motivation. Like I don't feel like doing certain things, okay? There's this real pull inwards into stillness rather than momentum this week. Let me know if you have been experiencing this. There's a little bit of identity confusion that is actually somatic, okay? And my Sasquatch guide, Cosmo, is going to be speaking to that piece. Today I'll bring through his message in a moment. But this is not supposed to be a mental process, okay? It's actually supposed to be a body calibration. And this is why we have this resistance. There's this resistance to pushing or planning, proving, performing, all of those things. And there's this real sense of, okay, nothing's wrong, but something is shifting, and some of you are interpreting that as something is wrong, okay? Now, this is, in this moment, this is not another awakening phase. This is an integration and a stabilization phase, okay? So in this transmission, I'm going to speak to that recalibration, that embodiment, that identity integration after the collapse or awakening phase, and why things might feel a bit quieter right now, why your body is becoming the primary anchor of truth, and what the earth is asking humans to remember in this moment, okay? This is more of a grounded, earth-led update. So you don't need to take notes or worry about the future. This is a now update. You don't need to do anything with this, just let it land in the body. So let's get into it. Okay, so we've got this restructuring of embodiment mechanics that is impacting your identity, your nervous system, your decision architecture, and the way reality answers to you. Okay, we've left that collapse phase from last year, and now you are entering this emergent coherence phase. And I said it last week and I'll say it again, you are going to hear the word coherence a lot this year, because that is the collective call to action. Now, what is active right now? Last week's identity was more of a disruption. This week is more of that integration pressure, which means what dissolved before is now being asked to land in your body. And you're not just shaking off the old self, you are being asked to let it go. Okay? There is this somatic insistence in the body. Okay? And that hasn't been present up until now. People are not just confused, okay? They're actually feeling this gut-heart tension, and you may be interpreting that as like true anxiety. There's this nervous system resistance to ease. That's the new identity wanting to land and come through. And again, this can be interpreted as anxiety. There's this deep internal check on your usual safety protocols. Again, interpret as anxiety, right? These are the things, which is why there's this collective. It's a collective interpretation of anxiety. There's this pull into doing less, yeah, and this sudden loss of, I'll use the word purpose, but in a narrative sense. So there's this sudden loss of purpose narrative that used to validate your identity. What do I mean? I mean, previous to this moment, we were all like, okay, I have to have a purpose. This is my purpose. That can be my only purpose. It's all about the purpose, right? But this life is truly about who you be. It is about living. It is about experiencing. So this whole process is no longer cognitive, okay? This is an embodied recalibration. Now, what is different about this? Right now, the field is testing that coherence as the baseline of reality. So before, clarity was coming and going and all the things, but now the clarity is actually asking you, can you hold this identity, this new aspect of you that is coming online when no one else even sees it? Okay. Can your nervous system support the truth without needing that feedback? Can your body embody certainty without the external evidence? Okay. This is creating a unique pressure in the field because the body must catch up before you believe it. And the body is speaking collectively, okay? That is why people are feeling the void states earlier in the piece. It's lasting for longer, maybe experiencing that emotional flatness that feels deeper than maybe anything you've ever experienced yet, okay? Not wanting to plan and figure things out. You're just being called to just be. There's this sudden disinterest in previous goals, okay, or timelines or aspirations, and really feeling like, yeah, nothing is wrong, but something is going on, okay? And we're interpreting that as maybe something is wrong. So this is the field refusing to reinforce those old identity loops, and then you find yourself sort of swaying and oscillating in this void space, in this gap. Cosmo's going to support you with that piece today, okay? So collectively, we're really integrating this coherence frequency over momentum, meaning if you are still moving as if you need to push to become something or do something, your field is not going to support that, okay? The field is now responding to being true, okay, in that new identity first, okay, before the evidence appears. This is a temporal, biological rewriting itself, okay? This is such a deep body process, basically, is what I'm saying here. The body used to respond to those familiar patterns, the safety signals, the repetition, and now your body's responding to that energetic consistency, the truth frequency anchoring in, and the nervous system agreement. So if your nervous system is saying, well, I don't feel like it yet, that's not a lack energy. That's the new calibration demand, because it is your body who is the oracle now, okay, not the mind. And this midpoint identity pull, this is collectively what the majority are feeling right now. It feels like what left the old self wants to drag you back, while your future self is already moving forward, okay? And that friction feels like tension. For you, it could be in your heart, it could be in your solar plexus, it could be in your lower belly, it could be in your voice, wanting to speak, but you're unsure how. This is not resistance, this is the identity trying to anchor. So it keeps trying to re-anchor in your body. Let me just take a sip of water here. So this is the threshold we're currently in. Now, how this is specifically working in this collective anatomy right now is, okay, we don't need momentum anymore. We want that embodied stability. So your field is actually prioritizing being matched by your body, nervous system agreement with soul identity, that frequency coherence versus performance, what you think you should do, what you think other people should think you should do, and just, pardon me, being in this lived truth state, okay? And this is why people are feeling that unmotivated sensation, maybe calm but charged. Maybe if you used to be able to have a nap in the day, you can't. There's so much happening in your system right now. It's that feeling of being, okay, yeah, I am present, but I'm also feeling a little unsettled. So this is the energy of that embodied identity becoming the baseline of reality. Cosmo's going to speak to that just now. So the invitation for this moment is, don't try harder. Don't try and chase the next piece of clarity. Don't try and fix anything. The invitation is to tune to your body first and let your nervous system lead your decisions with your soul, okay? Let that coherence, not logic, determine your path, okay? So this is the upgrade into something new. This is the collapse. It's not a bad collapse. This is a collapse into who you are already becoming, but your system just hasn't fully recognized it yet. Okay, so let's bring in Cosmo's message around this. Okay, so he says, the world is in this state of post-identity stabilization shock. And shock, not in the traumatic sense, but in a deep somatic sense. Many of you miscalculate the enormity of this process. You have the false matrix to thank for this. Many of you live in a state of distraction and therefore distortion. Many of you are outsourcing your knowing to others that you deem as better or more experienced than you. But your soul holds the keys to this and is eager to begin a dialogue with you. And so after the destabilization last year, many of you are still grieving the old version of you who could not walk with you any further. He or she is gone. It's over as per the collective soul agreement. And now it is time to stabilize. It is time to ground these new identities and frequencies into your body. If you have been feeling extra tired, emotional, anxious, or off, this is important. And although this will affect you individually on different layers and levels, deepening your although this will affect you individually on different layers and levels, deepening your willingness, the process will be the same. So what he's saying is, you're all going to be experiencing this differently, but it is a collective process and the solution is the same. In order to ground in the now, in order to ground the unseen into the seen, you must ground them into your body somatically. Okay, this is the key many people miss, and it is the most important one. This means conscious, intentional breaths. This supports anchoring in the new harmonics, frequencies, keys, and codes. This means eating, grounding, stabilising foods such as red meats and plenty of foliage. This means drinking plenty of water to support the cells in your system to flush the old away and integrate the new. Other options we highly recommend are barefoot on the mother, salt water immersion, magnesium baths or pools. Go outside when the weather is choppy and let the spirit of the wind breathe through you and your hair. Let the rain wash over you naked if you can. A creek swim, lying in the sand, and notice how you don't have to pay for the majority of these experiences. They cost you nothing. And we honour those of you already doing this, and we honour those of you who forgot you had access to the most precious resources available to humans. The mother is calling you home, but distraction has you scrolling technology on the couch, and we say this not to judge or even say that this is wrong, but we invite you into the sacred balance between technology and life and living. We invite you not to wait for the weekend or a holiday to experience the mother. She is waiting to hold you, nourish you, communicate with you, as we, the Sasquatch collective, do, without a want or need for anything else other than our peaceful, simple existence. And we do not say, be like us. We simply invite you again into the sacred balance and a deeper connection with the natural elements and your own soul, for that is where the truth of the truth lives. And when you have access to that deep internal truth, the matrix loses its grip. Okay? No longer can you be influenced, distracted, and sent distortion frequencies when you're living from that truth state. So I trust that this serves. I'm sending you so many blessings. Let me know how this landed and resonated with you below, and